Okay, so next step to draining the oil is you're going to want to get your drain pan and just wait for the oil to drain out. So you want to change your oil yourself. So it's a pretty easy job. This is everything you're going to need. It's very simple. As long as you're prepared and you have all the right oil and filter to put back in, it's easily something you could do yourself. So what we need to do the job, today we're going to be performing it on a 07 F-150 5.4 liter. So that's what all this stuff is going to cover, but the socket size and all that stuff varies depending on car. But you're going to need a rag, just a regular ratchet. Today we're going to be using a 16. I like this ratchet because it swivels, so it's easier to do under the car because we have the sway bar right there. Now I have this tool here for taking off the oil filters. When you loosen it, it actually crimps down on the filter and will actually twist the filter to help you get it off. I'll put a link to where you can get this tool. So I just have that on a 6-inch extension on just like a regular 3/8 ratchet. Safety glasses, you want to be careful of your eyes because there is going to be hot oil. Because you are going to want to change the oil with it warm, not hot, so it's going to burn you. But you just want to run the car for like 5-10 minutes and then dump the oil out. I highly recommend rubber gloves. You're going to need a suitable pan to catch the fluid in. Today we're using a bigger pan, but I just have this one here as an example. And you're going to want to get the correct oil. You're going to want to check on your oil cap. It'll tell you the oil, and you could refer to the owner's manual for capacities, or you could look it up online if your owner's manual doesn't tell you or you don't have one. So today we're going to be needing 8 quarts, so each one of these is 5, so there'll be 2 left over. And then you're going to want your filter. Oil, it really is up to you what you choose to use, and filter you choose to use. Just make sure you get the right viscosity, and the rest is up to you. So to begin your oil change, you are going to want to remove your oil cap to help with the flow. So to begin, you're just going to want to get your drain pan, suitable size. This one holds 11 quarts. We're only going to be dealing with 8, so this one is big enough. We're just going to want to put it under there, and then we're going to just drain it out. Now today on this truck, it's actually high enough where we don't have to jack it up, but if you had like a smaller car or like a SUV type thing, you might want to raise it and set it on jack stands to be able to get under there to actually drain the oil out. So, but today we're just going to climb under there as is. So to begin draining the oil, you're going to have to locate your oil drain bolt, which is on the oil pan. So we're just going to go ahead and crack him loose. And now you just let it drain all the way out. Now that you see it's went to this drip, we've waited a couple minutes and it's all out. So you're going to want to wipe off your drain bolt, and we are just going to reinstall him. You don't have to get crazy with these because you are going to take it off again. So you just want it to seal, but you don't want to strip it out because then you're going to be leaking oil and it's going to be a bad sign, or a bad thing. So just crank it on there. Now it's tight. Do that little bit more, and that should be it. Wipe it. Wipe everything all clean so you don't go through all this and then all the little drips go on your driveway. So we're just going to clean it. And now we're going to turn our attention to the oil filter, and we're going to remove that now. Okay, so I am under the car. You guys are looking from a top view. Now how I get this filter off is I will come from the bottom and I will fish my oil filter removal tool, as it helps me grab it from down below, and I will use it to get those first couple cranks. And then once you get the first couple cranks, then you should be able to unscrew it. You're just going to want to, once it starts coming out, just give it a second to come out. And then we're just going to unscrew it a little more. Wait for more drips. And then we're going to take it fully off. Slip it out this hole here. And that's it. Then we're going to wait another minute or two, and we're going to reinstall our new oil filter. Okay, so before you reinstall your new filter, what you're going to want to do is just dip your finger in your new oil and put it all over this gasket. Don't be scared. Make sure it gets on the gasket, so that way the gasket doesn't get stuck for next time. And another trick is, before you put this one on, check the old one and make sure this isn't stuck. Because if this is stuck, you're going to put this one on, you're going to have two gaskets, and it's going to leak like crazy. And if you don't notice it in time, you could harm your motor. So make sure this seal came off with the old one. So you're just going to want to fish your new filter up into place, and it's a little bit tricky to get it started. Once it's started, you're good. You just want to screw it on till it gets tight. Now it's tight, so now you just want to go about like a quarter, a little more than a quarter turn. Like that should be tight enough. You don't want to tighten that with any kind of tools or nothing. Just put that on by hand. It shouldn't leak. Just double check it, because if you do use tools, you could hurt the filter. Alright, so real quick, one thing we forgot to mention was you're going to need a funnel, one that'll fit inside your cap, unless your oil fill is actually, big enough. But today we're going to use just this funnel. So like I said, we're going to pour in, I think the truck says 7.5, but I usually put 8, and it's usually full. So we're just going to shoot this whole bottle. And we're going to dump in this bottle until it only says 2 quarts left, and that'll add up to our 8. So we're going to put 3 more. Check. Tiny bit more, and as you can see, we only have 2 quarts left, so therefore that means we have 8. And one quick tip I forgot to mention before is put your oil cap on your hood, where your hood's gonna snap on, because if you forget to put this back on, all the oil will come out. So if you leave it here and you're rushing, when you go to close the hood, you'll break this. Worst case scenario, you gotta buy a couple dollar cap, but at least you didn't drive with the cap off. So we're just gonna put the cap back on. Now all we got to do is just check our fluid, start the car, run it for a couple minutes, check the fluid again, and that's all there is to it. So to check the oil, make sure your car is on a level surface. Remove the dipstick, wipe it. And now we're just going to reinsert. Check again. As you can see, we're a little bit over, which is good because the engine's going to suck it up and the new filter is going to suck some up. So we want to end up right where that dot is right there. You want to stay in between these two dots. If you go lower than this dot, that's actually bad and you don't have enough oil, so you want to be in this crosshatch, but preferably at the top of it. You're just going to want to check your fluid one more time. As you can see, we're right on the top line right there. So that's it. And just remember to check your oil in between oil changes. I use a synthetic blend, so I usually run about 5,000 miles in between oil changes. And one last quick thing is, now that you're in here and you're all greasy and everything, now's the perfect time to run through all your fluids and check your air filter and everything. Just give a general look of what's going on. So yeah, it's as easy as that to change your oil at home. Just make sure you dispose of your oil properly. You can put it back in the jugs you bought it in and bring it back to whoever you bought it from. If they sold it to you, they have to take it back. So don't go dumping it down storm drains or nothing. So make sure you dispose of it. And hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one.